There is no future for people who deny their past. My foreparents, my grandparents,
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, your ultimate destination for urban culture, community vibes, and live conversations with the movers and shakers of the streets. Join us as we explore the rhythm of the one beat at a time. Let's get the show started. Turn up the volume, sit back and relax, and welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, hosted by Turbo, the CEO, and follow us on all social media platforms.
You're listening to the Final Boss Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast. Tonight, man, listen. Before I get into the details, before I introduce the gentleman on the other side of the screen, man, this episode only, I'm not gonna get into that. But you know what? Let's give a clap for this tonight's episode. Let's do that part, right? I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited about tonight. And I'm getting ready to break down all the details of tonight and what's happening, right? If you've been following us since day one, you know what episode this is. The name of this episode is called the Sartorial Gladiator, a Centennial celebration, with this gentleman who's our special guest on the other side of the screen. I'm not going to give you his name yet. But it's coming. Let me tell you, there's a little quote. This is before we get into our brass tacks, but this is a little quote, and this is in reference to this gentleman. Where threads meet dreams and the fabric of success is woven with audacity. The gentleman on the other side of the screen, ladies and gentlemen, has the audacity to be great, and he's doing great things, not only but in the community, but he's world-renowned. And I'm still not going to tell you his name. I got to build it up. Man. I got to build it up. Listen, got to build it up. But, you know, you got to, man.
Let's go.
Drum roll. But tonight's brass tacks. Here's tonight's brass tacks. Tonight's brass tacks comes from no author, but here it is. Obstacles can't stop you. Problems can't stop you. Most of all, other people can't stop you. Only you. Yes, you. Only you can stop you. And that's our brass tacks for tonight. Man, we're going to give a toast to triumph, to the special guests on the other side. Yes, sir. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the summit of podcasting. We're at the Mount Olympus of podcasting. 100 episodes later, and we're still not running out of Final Boss energy drinks, which is in this mug right here. But look, the gentleman on the side of the screen, our very Washington, D.C.'s own world-renowned Hector Williams Jr. Yes, let's give him a hand.
My man. Let's go. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. The Da Vinci of dapper, the Michelangelo of menswear. In my phone, no cap, in my phone, he's known as Hasachi, Mr. Hasachi, because man, let me tell you, his work is incredible. His work is incredible and it's inspiring. And today, we're going to dissect the anatomy of excellence with a Renaissance man who's on the other side, who's our special guest of modern fashion. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A little bit about Mr. Williams. Grew up in DC.
Yeah.
Went to Largo. And every empire begins with a single step on unfamiliar territory.
Right.
Went to DeMatha, where they taught him how to pray and stay. From a social economic standpoint and self-accusation, this gentleman embodies all things of why he's the 100th guest on our Centennial episode. Let's give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Hector Williams.
Thank you. Hey D, I don't take it lightly, bro. Hear me out.
Hey,
I do not take it lightly because I know you've been cranking out on this thing.
Like a madman.
Because when we follow back up, I was like, well, what episode? And you was like, oh, you about to be on the 100th. I was like, oh, okay. And I know you had been moving since we had talked about it the first few times.
Right.
So
exactly.
It's my honor, bro. My
honor.
Hey,
bro. I appreciate it, man. I man, listen. This is a stupendous moment, man. It's just incredible. I'm glad that I was able to catch you. I know you are super busy, and I wanted to catch you, man. I'm glad we was able to pull it together. And yes, man, God has the right timing, man, when it's supposed to. You know, so
that part
right there, man. So before we how about you tell the people a little bit about you and what you do?
Man, well, I'll start with a little bit about me. Now, what I do part you're gonna have to divvy that up because I can do that. I does a lot. Right. but like you said, a little bit about me, more background. I am from Washington D.C., Southeast, more specifically. So for sure, I'm from the South Side. If anybody ever wondered, but I did grow up in Largo, and I attended schools in Prince George's County, like you said, my high school, DeMatha, and from there I attended North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, also known as North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride, stand up. So I attended A&T, and then from there I went to grad school at Morgan, and from there, that's when I started working professionally as a highway safety specialist in the federal government. But along the way, I was always into fashion in some aspect. And so, like I said, when we get more into the nitty gritty, we can get into the details. But I say all that to say that, man, educated, but yet I'm still an around the way guy, meaning I'm still well-versed in what they would say, the streets, if you will. So multifaceted individual, family man, husband, have 5 children, and I'm like I said, down to earth. I love roller skating. That's one of my passions that a lot of people may not know.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I like pretty much any activity that I can move around. You know what I'm saying? Helps me think that I'm young. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
anything like that. But yeah, man, just a fun-loving guy. Love people.
Okay.
Love being out, networking. That has helped me along the way. In my business. So yeah, just a little bit about me, a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, man. Like I've already stated, you have numerous of accolades that we're going to dive into. And but first and foremost, as my brother, I appreciate you joining us again for this 100th episode. I couldn't think of anybody else, man, that'd be more perfect as a guest to mark this milestone. And I mean, little do people know, you've conquered everything you pretty much have touched from a standpoint of dominating the fashion empire. You've been in films. Man, the resume is impressive, brother. The resume is impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So, real quick, beyond the suits, beyond the things you've done, the screen time, who exactly is the man behind the legend? That's you.
I would say I'm a people person. At the end of the day, I'm a people person. So I don't think it really would matter what product and or service I was a part of. I love helping people.
Gotcha.
So at the very heart or the very backbone of me is Heck is a people person. Like, I'm definitely for, for the people.
Okay.
And it just so happens that I've been able to be for the people and serve them in various ways throughout my creative career. Well, even in my professional career, even though at one point I kind of cared about my job, and I'm talking about when I had a 9 to 5. Like, at one point I cared, but toward the latter,
I get it, man. I get it, bro. I get it.
But for the most part, the things that I did, care about, I put some effort into it,
right?
And I was able to serve, like I said, serve people in various ways,
right?
So I think the heart, the backbone is I'm a people person.
Okay. So I want to bounce back on something you had stated in reference to how you felt about your job at the time that you had it. Listen, smarts and final bosses, the entrepreneur spirit starts before you become an entrepreneur.
Say that again. Make sure
the entrepreneur spirit starts before you become an entrepreneur. So I get it. As an entrepreneur, I've had jobs, but deep down inside, man, I always knew my core is business and a business owner. So like Hector was saying, yeah, at that point right there, exactly.
Yeah, at one point you working for them and you kind of blinded. I mean,
yeah, man,
because you want the coin, and
absolutely,
you might be, life. Once you over 18, life, so you gotta pay for life. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. So man, you grew up in Southeast and Largo. I grew up in Northeast.
Okay.
So Southeast is where your story began. Can you paint us a picture what young Hector was like, and how did Washington, D.C. and the fashion in Washington, D.C. shape your fashion empire?
Got you. Well, I'll say that honestly, my older brother,
okay,
on my mom's side, he was my first fashion inspiration.
Okay.
Because and we're gonna be transparent 100 on this, because that's what we do on some boss stuff. So absolutely. My father, he was not around when I was younger. So the male that was in the house was my older brother.
Gotcha.
And he was or is 11 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So I looked up to him, man, and he was fresh. I mean, fresh. And see that you know history repeats itself, and especially in the fashion game. So now you have the younger generation wearing some of the stuff that we grew up on. But if they would have tried to wear it like 3, 4, 5 years ago, they would be considered like crazy. But now it's back, like the Sergio Tacchini sweatsuits,
right?
You know what I'm saying? All the classic throwback stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man. Real
they don't know the origin of it.
Right, they don't.
So the times that I'm talking about is when this stuff was first coming out.
Yeah, early 80s, right? Yeah, when the culture 80s, hit hard, right? Yeah,
yes. I'm talking about when Georgetown was a thing.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking about Georgetown University, people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about
Georgetown
district.
Right, right. Georgetown was the thing to do.
Yeah, and if you wasn't getting your stuff from George, like, bro, where you going? What you doing?
Exactly. Prince and princesses, the jewelry stores down there.
Absolutely.
Dude, the Super Tims, the Feelab, you already know.
Absolutely.
You already know.
That's what I'm saying. And
yes,
so my brother was down there. He was one of them. And so because he was in the house, that's what I saw. Right. And I was like, yo, I didn't say this to him at the time, like, you're cool. That was all I knew. So I didn't know if it was necessarily like cool or not. It was just all I knew at the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I kind of got my first sense of fashion and coordination from. Because I tell you, I used to wear my brother's sweatsuits to school, like, and I wasn't supposed to.
I could dig it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was wearing his shoes, and when I could fit his size, I was wearing his shoes for a good little second. But then my feet got a little bigger, and then I was short. But but for them 6 months, bro, it was a good run.
You had a good run. You had a good run.
You know what I'm saying? I was the man in school,
I can dig it.
Whatever. Like, I was good for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So he was my first, you know what I'm saying, like, fashion inspiration. Okay. And then from there, I actually got voted best dressed in middle school, and I actually, like, when I look back on it, man, I always say it was like, heck, you were always into clothes, bro.
Yeah.
You didn't know that you can make a job and a living out of it, but you were always into it. You know what I mean?
That's funny that you said it, man. I too have been a fashion warrior. High school, I was in the running with this other dude for best dress in high school, and but I was new to the high school.
Got you, yeah.
Because I had brought DC fashion to Maryland, the Maryland schools that I went to, same like you. So you know, you bring back a little DC flavor, and it's a little different. It hits different. They didn't know what to do exactly. So I went to Bladesburg, man. They was like
who this?
Who this? Right. Yeah, man. I got nominated, man, with this other cat. He was familiar and popular and everybody, you know, but he won. But you know, it was cool. I was honored, man, you know.
Yeah, just to be
but I didn't extra. I was just doing what I always did. You feel me?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, man.
I do.
Yes, sir.
I do.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man. Thanks for sharing that, man. That brings back some good memories, man. Going down memory lane. And I got a closet full of Feelab sweatsuits right now, man. The youngins, they see me.
All of that.
Look, all that. They see me. They be like, "What's up, Unc? What's up, OG?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, dog. This is my fashion." Like, y'all wearing what we was wearing. Y'all don't know nothing about this right here.
Nothing,
yeah,
bro. Nothing.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So, man, thanks for that, man. I really appreciate that. From your travels and the different places you resided in the DMV area, during your formative years, what gave you or what made you grounded in excellence that still drives you today?
I would probably say in my formative years, it would had to been my mom and my family.
Okay, cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Pops wasn't there, unfortunately.
Right.
So all I had was moms. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I did have the fathers of my friends.
Oh yeah,
like
the community. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like we were talking about earlier, like community, like I saw the value in that very early. Like, cause I was very close with a lot of my friends, pops, like the people that I played like football with, because I started playing football like in elementary school, 4th, 5th grade. So their parents, you know, became my parents. Like it was a village. You know what I mean?
It was a village. Yeah.
So when I would go and spend a night over their house, I'm also getting nuggets from, you know what I'm saying, their parents, or more specifically their father. So I did have positive father figures in my life, just not in my home.
Absolutely. I could dig it. I
just had my brother. I mean, he was a positive figure, but he wasn't my father, but he's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So I had bro in the home. But in terms of the grounding per se, it was definitely moms and as well, like I said, some of my friends' fathers.
Okay.
They were definitely influential in rearing me, raising me, and providing you know, solid and ground advice.
A good foundation. Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate that also, man. You know, I love and I am completely fascinated. Shoot, I love a good origin story, right? I love a good origin story, man. And because origin stories are where character is built off of. That's where your character is revealed. So I love a good origin story, man. And part of your origin story, what moment in your youth did you realize you weren't built for ordinary? You just knew.
When did I know? That's a great
question, right?
Because I'm trying to think as a child if
bro, you can say
if anything kind of struck out.
Because look, I tell people, I knew I came out the womb like, yo, I'm here.
So yes, you know, I didn't know. I ain't come out with this. No. That's what I'm saying. It definitely wasn't early out where I was like, like, nah, it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. I mean, I think it was probably. It probably was in like middle school, high school ish. Like middle school ish. I knew I had swag because like. My moms would take us shopping in New York, and like I was intentional about my clothing. You know what I'm saying? I was very intentional. I was intentional about coordination and what pieces I was putting together. Like I was very intentional about that. Like in the 8th grade.
I got to do this. This is part of the show.
Let's go.
You just said something very profound. I'm gonna throw a positive flag. Throw a positive flag on the play.
Okay, let's get it.
Green flag. Listen, all the most successful people in the world make that exact statement. You have to dress with and be intentional with your dress. All the most successful people around the world say that, man. I follow a lot of these guys. Matter of fact. I have a segment on my Monday shows called Motivation Mondays.
Right.
And I'm talking about the 6 pillars of success. And I talk about most the highly top tier successful people around the world. They're in their biggest secrets, and that definitely in their top 10 of secrets, man. It seems that those who dress really well, it success follows them. It's an energy thing.
And I was told, like, at a young age to dress for where you're going and not for where you're at.
That part right there.
And that ties right into what, you know. Now, I wasn't doing that intentionally because that was my motive when I was in the 8th grade. I was just trying to be cool in the 8th grade. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My intention was, I just want to make sure, all right, I'm putting this yellow with the yellow hat with the blue pants and the right sock with that. You know what I'm saying? It was just more so that I wasn't trying to be, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I think it was when I started working for the government in the early, what was that? When did I start working for the government? Like 2006, 2007.
Okay.
That's when I kind of knew, like, all right, I ain't really ordinary, because I was putting together pieces and people would be like, yo, that's a crazy combination.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This ain't the ordinary regular degular.
Right. Okay. So you went to North Carolina A&T, correct?
Yes.
Help me recall. What was your major again?
My major was transportation and logistics, so it had nothing to do with fashion or anything of this industry. No.
So that's interesting, man. So how did you pivot into fashion from there? How did that work, bro? That's
all right. No. That's the $1 million question. Okay. So when I was, let's say, so I went to A&T, and when I was at A&T, I joined the fashion, the modeling club. At that time, there was only one. It was called Couture, and they still exist. Shout out Couture in the building.
Gotcha.
So that's when I kind of got a little bit more serious about, this fashion, this is a thing, because now I'm almost about to be an adult. So I'm like, maybe I can, like, be a model or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You try to figure it out.
That was kind of like my aspirations around that time. Model, actor-ish type thing. And so what happens later on, I had my first son in college. And so I was like, I want to be local, so I don't want to be away from my son. So that kind of minimized the idea of, like, going to New York or in LA, you know, like, get discovered. So I was like, all right, I just got to hustle locally. And so at that time, like I said, being as though I was still into fashion, what I was doing, I was selling accessories. So I was selling bow ties, pocket squares, socks, and things like that. So I became very popular and known as the tie guy, meaning the necktie guy.
Heck ties, yeah.
Right. So I was doing that. Yeah, so I was doing and so that's how I came up with my Instagram name, Heck Ties. Because my boy actually gave it to me. He was like, man, you don't sell neckties. He said, you sell heck ties. And I said, you know what?
Branding. Yeah.
Let me take that, put that in the pocket, right?
Right.
So I was doing that, man. I was doing that for years. I was selling ties and accessories for years. And one day, one of my boys called me and he said, Hector, I have partnered with some people that actually make suits. And because you sell accessories, this might be, worth a meeting. And I said, absolutely. And so we met up one day and he had on one of the suits. And bro, I was like, hold on, what? Wait, this is what? And he was giving me the details, all the specs. Right. And I said, I want in. And bro, he handed it to me on a platter.
Wow.
He handed it to me on a platter. And he asked nothing in return.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow, shout out to him, bro. Man, that's what's up,
yeah,
bro.
That's Mo Beasley. Mo Beasley. That's my guy. Mo Beasley.
Mo Beasley.
Yes, that's my guy. This is Mo Beasley.
That's wild.
My guy. And most people don't know that's how I got introduced to the game, is through him.
That's crazy right now.
And when I say it fell into my lap, it was literally like that.
Literally,
he just happened to call me and was like, yo, I know you selling ties. Like, let me put you on to something else.
Yeah.
And that was the start. But what happened was, in terms of my career, even though he gave me that information, I didn't quite run off to the races with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I was working. I was working at the government. And so because my degree was in transportation and logistics, I had internships with the federal government, the Department of Transportation, throughout my undergraduate career, and even when I went to grad school. So when I graduated, I was almost like a shoe-in to get into DOT because I had already been interning there. So that was my first job, my first real job, grown-up job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I did that. And the beginning of those years is when I was selling the ties. And then, like I said, my boy, he gave me that information, but I just kind of put it in my back pocket and I just left it there. But what happened, Turbo, the pivot was when I woke up and I realized I really didn't like my job. I really didn't like the 9 to 5. I really didn't like coming in and answering to somebody else. So my actions started to show that I didn't care. I know that feeling all too well. Yeah. So I was coming to work late. I was leaving early. I was taking 5-hour lunch breaks. I was missing in action. I was at the water cooler. I was everywhere but my desk.
I could dig it.
And in doing so, as a youngin, and not thinking,
right?
They called me in the office one day and they said, "Sir, the time that you are accounting for and the time that your badge when you badge in," they said the math is not mathing, sir. They said, so go home, don't call us, we'll call you. So D, I was on administrative leave for like 10 months and I was getting paid the whole time.
Oh yeah.
So I was riding the wave.
Right. Grinding.
They called me 10 months later. They said, come on back. Came back in the office and they said, look here, sir.
We're gonna out-process you.
Somehow the math still ain't mathing. And they said, so you have one of two choices.
Okay.
One, you can bow out gracefully, no harm, no foul. You can live to see another day in the federal government, just not this agency. Or you can fight it. But I knew I was going to lose. I was already in the union. I was cool with the union president. Before I even left, he said, heck, you can't fight this. Ride it out. So that's what I did. Okay. And in that moment, I had to make a decision. And I knew I wasn't going to fight it because that would be dumb. So I waved my white flag. And I knew that I didn't want to work another 9 to 5. Once that happened, I said, no, I know I can't. I'm like, heck, I'm not even built for it. I'm not. And in my mind, I said, I would rather do 10 things to compensate for this one thing.
Right.
Meaning 10 things that I like to do and prefer to do versus this one thing that I don't like doing at all.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of monetarily, like how am I going to get that same income or, close? Because I was working for the government, bro. This was 10 years in. Like, oh yeah, it wasn't like I just started. You know what I'm saying?
Our stories are similar. Yeah. I walked away from the government in January. 22 years of this year. 22 years in.
Oh.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. A branch chief.
You had just reason.
Yeah, I was a branch chief. I would never work for anybody else.
Yeah, it's a lot going on right now.
It's a lot going on, man.
We didn't see back in, and I'm saying my day, But back when I was working for the government, the political circus wasn't as crazy as it is now. So that makes the era and the time it's real tricky now for if you back then you were solid, like you wasn't at risk or jeopardy of Uncle Sam saying, "Oh, we're closing the government, we're doing that." You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no craziness like that back then, or shall I say around my time when I was working. But so when I left for the first almost year, I didn't do anything. So like I sat on my retirement and I was just living off of that I had built up. But when it started to dwindle,
it dwindles fast.
Real fast, real fast. And especially when you don't have nothing coming in. I'm talking about when you ain't had nothing coming in, especially not in comparison to what you was used to getting come in. It's a game changer. It goes fast. And that's when they say the shit hits the fan and the rubber meets the road. And I said, you know what, heck, I have to make a decision. I have to do something. And then I just looked around and I said, yo, what do I have? And I looked in my back pocket and I said, oh, I got this clothes thing. I never really gave it a shot. I said, let me see what's up with this. And that's when I started to get serious about this. And that happened in, because I left the government in 2016. I don't think I started really going hard with this until. I didn't get that. Could you try again? Siri, I didn't say nothing to you. I didn't get back into the game. Yeah. I didn't get back into the game until probably like 2018.
Okay.
Yep, because like I said, I left the government in 2016, and I didn't start going hard with this until about 2018, man.
Wow.
So it took me a while. It took me a while. But like I said, I was sitting, I was relaxed, I was complacent. I was just chilling. But you can't chill forever.
You can't chill forever, man. And that's man, so many parallels in that story. It's man, that's congratulations, man. Congratulations. Like, for real. To be able to walk away and through resilience, you figured it out and you made it happen. Like, real talk. Can't,
years later. Yeah. But that
but it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kept going. You went through all the pitfalls and you just kept going through. You kept going, man. I preach about pushing through those moments and keep going and not quitting. Not quitting is one of the 6 pillars of success and resilience. Not quitting and just keep on pushing through. So let me ask you, because you made a lot of points in that last statement you made, man. So you were studying logistics, you went into the government. How did your studies prepare you for your fashion empire? In what way? Are there connections?
Yes, because I think from a basic logistics standpoint, logistics is the movement of people and or things from one place to another,
right?
In its most fundamental definition, you know what I mean? So from my studies, I always understood the importance of teamwork, because it takes a team of people and or companies to move, like I said, either a person or a thing from one place to the next. There are a lot of, no pun intended, but there are a lot of moving pieces in that. You know what I'm saying? but I understand that every piece is important. And so I think that is one of the fundamental takeaways that I have definitely applied to my business in fashion, as being a designer as well as a manufacturer.
Okay.
So I know the importance of a team.
Got it.
For one, I can't do it all by myself. That's
right.
You can't do it.
You can't.
You can't. So you have to have a team. And because I can appreciate every aspect of the team, no matter how big or small somebody else may think or deem that position or aspect, I know every part matters.
Absolutely.
So I treat the people that I work with and collab with just like that, even if their part is maybe 2% of the whole 100% project.
Yeah.
Like without your 2%, bro, I wouldn't have my, you know what I'm saying?
It's a cog in a well-oiled machine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, without your 3%, whatever it might be, it wouldn't be complete without it. So I still need you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to treat you like you was the 97%. Like, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. That's the one thing I know, carries over from one, one field, you know what I'm saying,
to the other. Okay.
This one, for sure.
Gotcha. I listen, man. Thank you again. Hey, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Can we pivot a little bit to some fun times? Let's talk about Hollywood, man. Let's talk about Hollywood. You ready? Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Let's talk about it, bro. Because that's what people be wanting to know, man. Like, yeah, we know your early start, but like, what you doing now, bro? Like,
about the early start, because I want to build up, bro. I want to build up. Like,
no, of course, but now it's the juicy stuff. Yeah, that was the juicy fun stuff, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, man, your career. So I pride myself on my special guest Thursdays, which is this episode.
That's what we do.
It's for entrepreneurs, right? business owners, community leaders, people who are involved in major charities and things of that nature, man. So a lot of my guests or I should say my audience, are like-minded. You know what I'm saying? So that's perfect, right? That's perfect. But let's talk about your early career in Hollywood. Dude, how did you get role bounce, man? Tell us about that. How did that happen?
Skating. Skating. So yeah,
right.
so I'm really a skater at heart. Like,
okay, you're that guy.
Before the fashion, before all of this, like, bro, skating. I'm a skater. Like, have my own pair. Like, yes, passionate about it. So what happened was, early when they were trying to do the film, they needed authentic skaters. So they were shopping around the US for individuals, good skaters. And so when we found out, like, yo, they're doing an audition for skaters, and we're like, yo, we don't have to practice for that. Like, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
we can audition right now. And I'm like, cause I already skate every weekend at matinee. Like, I'm already going skating 9 days a week. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
wow, nice.
You don't have to train me for no tricks. Like, I'm doing the tricks. So when me and my homies found out about that, and my family as well, when we found out about the audition, they would like, send your tapes in of you doing whatever routine, whatever. And we did just that. And they selected us, and they were like, yo, y'all get out here to Chicago and y'all can be in the film.
Oh, nice. So that's nice. Okay.
I went, my sister, my mom, and a couple of my friends, because we were all in a skate group at that time, a skate club at that time.
Right.
So we went out there, man, and I'm the type of person where I'm gonna figure it out. Meaning if you open that door, I'm gonna figure out who's who, what's about to go down. And if this is a movie, I want as much time as I can possibly get on this screen, because I'm not Bow Wow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I need to find out who is responsible for placing people where, because that's who I want to be my friend. while I'm here.
Exactly.
And I did just that. I found out who was responsible for putting people where and what scenes and the placement. And I said, and I befriended her.
Wow.
And guess what? You can go watch Roll Bounce right now.
Oh, I'm going to watch it again.
No, listen, I can tell you 3 exact places where I am.
Okay.
To this day.
That's dope, dude. That's dope, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
So that's how that happened. And so even to this day, when people be like, when I say something about skating, they'll make a joke and say Roll Bounce, and I'll be like, yo, I was in that movie. And they'll be like, really? And I'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, no, you weren't. And because I know exactly where I am, I'll tell them, go back and watch it and look at this scene, and this scene. And they'll be like, oh my goodness, you really were. I was like, bro, yeah, I told you.
Damn, that's insane. That is insane.
And that was like my early 20s, early 20s.
Okay. But you I don't know how that works, but you received IMDb
credit for that.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
That's dope. That's dope. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So, man, interesting story. Next story in question. Bosch. Dude, that is an incredible show. The storyline, the writing, amazing. Yeah. How did you end up on that?
Yeah, so at one point when I wasn't working for the feds,
okay,
I was living in Las Vegas.
Gotcha.
And again, this is my time where I'm thinking I want to do, modeling, acting, the entertainer thing or whatever. So I was a part of a casting agency.
Okay.
And I think that casting came across their table and I applied for it, and I sent my pics and my stats, I should say.
Right.
And I was selected.
Nice.
And I had the opportunity to be Jamie Hector's double. So I was actually on the set with them, met with them, and we did like a couple of episodes, man. And it was cool. It was so cool. It was because that came after the Roll Bounce, you know what I'm saying? So I was man, I'm on like, what is it? Because that was on, I think it was Amazon Prime at the time. It was a Prime series or a Prime release, something like that, or a Prime show, I would say. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. Like I said, we were filming it in Las Vegas, and we did a couple of episodes, and it was cool. I got to chop it up with Jamie, like during in between scenes, and I got to see a different side of the industry, meaning the behind the scenes stuff, because man, you can be on set for 10-12 hours for just a 15-minute part of a show,
right?
And you're on set for 10-12 hours.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, man. So just to experience that, and to now have a different perspective of when you look at movies or when you watch shows, and you're like, yo, a lot really goes into that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like that 5-minute scene, a lot went into that.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so that's how the Bosch thing came. Yeah. So
okay.
that was I guess I would say a luck of the draw, but I guess right place, right time. Because literally I have a picture on my Instagram, and if you put us side by side, like I could see how they could have picked me. Like we kind of like I could be his double, like for sure. Like
right.
For sure.
Man, that's crazy. Man. Hair clips in Vegas.
Yeah, that was also in Vegas. So hair clips is a huge hair slash. It's more hair. It's like I guess I would say a hair show.
Is it like it's a hair
show convention? Like it's
one of those conventions, right? Right, like the one they have in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's big. Okay.
It's a thing. But I didn't know this at the time,
right?
Because it was, again, I got this gig through the casting company. They said, hey, we have an opportunity for, hair clips, modeling opportunity. I was like, all right, cool. I had never, because at this point, I'm just trying to get money, just trying to get seen. I really don't care what the job is. If you
right. You're like, okay, I'll take it.
Work, I'll take it. Like, what else am I doing? Because I'm not at no desk typing nothing from 9 to 5 anymore. Like, what else am I doing? Of course I do it. Absolutely. So when I got there, that's when they gave the spiel, and they were like, yeah, it's going to be over 5,000 people in it. And I'm like, whoa, wait, how many? And they were like, yeah, it's over 5,000. I was like, whoa
is correct.
I mean, and I had done fashion shows before and walked the runway, but never in a crowd of 5,000 or more. I'm talking about college auditoriums. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
200, 500 seaters, I guess, but no. Yeah. So that right there, that was a cool experience. And again, that was in Vegas, my time in Vegas. And I didn't know, again, how big it was until I was there and I was talking to the people and I was seeing the production. And I was like, just for a fashion show? But it was a big fashion show. You know what I mean?
Fashion show. Yeah. I think the one in Atlanta don't.
It's probably the one in Atlanta might be bigger. Honestly,
is it called Bonner Brothers or something? I don't. I have to do some research. I have to look it up. But I think
and that's the thing. I wasn't really big into the hair thing, so I couldn't tell you. I was getting all my information in real time while I was there. I was like, oh, so this is the thing, y'all. Like, y'all really do this? Like, every people come out for hair stuff, and they were like, yeah.
Dude, it sounds like you blessed and you've been at the right place at the right time on many occasions.
Absolutely. I'll take that too, for sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So ABC's, what is it? The Good Doctor? Is that the show?
Good Doctor. Yeah.
Let's talk about that one.
So with the Good Doctor, I actually met Hill Harper at an event in DC. He was speaking. And this is getting back to the networking piece. I actually met him in the hallway after he had finished giving his speech, and I, congratulated him on his speech.
Right.
And he asked me about what it was that I did, and I told him I was like, I'm in the clothing business and I make custom clothes. And I think at that time I was only doing menswear. And he said, "Oh, really?" He was like, "Well, I would love to support you." He said, "I'm on the Good Doctor. Not sure if you know." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm aware of it." And he was like, "I'm going to see about how I can connect you and have you make me something for the show, and I'll get the studio to pay for it." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good."
Okay.
Yeah. But I wasn't sure if he was going to follow through.
Right, Hollywood talk, basically.
I'm not sure if it's Hollywood talk or what. So lo and behold, he calls me, or no, he gives me his number, and he told me that they were on some type of break for right now, but that he was going to have some meeting in like a week or two, and to follow back up with him. And so I followed back up with him in those 2 weeks, and he said, "Yeah, I talked to my people, and they will be reaching out to you." Turbo, these people reached out to me and they said, "Yes, we would like for you to make him something, and we're going to pay for it."
Wow.
And this was my first time making something for television, because now at this point now I'm making clothes. Like this is after, definitely after 2018. So I'm making clothes at this point.
Okay.
But I'm just making them for, my people, my everyday people. I'm not in the industry at this point. Like, I'm not dealing with anyone in the industry. And so this was actually my first opportunity to do that. And that meant that I was able to charge a different rate that I would normally charge on the street. Corporate and studio money is way different.
Exactly.
It's a different bag, bro. It's a different bag. So because he was truly about his word, man, and that's one thing I can say about, I mean, a lot of people, but because we're talking about Hill Hopper is a man of his word, bro.
Wow, man, that's gracious of him to do that, bro. That's incredible, man.
And we're still in touch, like even through this day, because the Good Doctor show ended, but he and I are still in touch, like to this day.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And every time
that's good networking right there.
Yeah, and every time he's in DC, if I see him, it's love.
Okay,
it is love. Hill is a real one, bro.
That's what's
Hill
up,
is a
man.
real one.
Yeah, I heard many good stories about him, man, especially when it comes to he was doing things with Howard University, and I remember that. But a lot of people that I knew that went to Howard, they had nothing but great things to say about him, man, all the time. Yeah,
Absolutely. No, I can see that. I can see it.
Yeah,
I witnessed it, so I know,
man. So thank you for sharing that part. Now, I don't know how much time you have, but this is our 100th episode. So
I got a little bit of bonus. We gotta give him a bonus, man. We good.
We gotta give him the bonus. Okay, listen, man.
We good.
Perfect. You've done a lot of different things in Hollywood, man. Now we're getting ready to get to the nitty-gritty, speeding forward. You've worked with Mike Epps, D.L. Hughley, Earthquake. These are top tier comedians at the top of their class. Man, what's the secret sauce, man? What's the secret sauce in building authentic relationships and the fashion industry and the things that you've done for so many people?
Man, honestly, I think first and foremost, you gotta have a good product.
Yeah,
because these people been around.
Yeah,
so they know. You know what I'm saying? They know good stuff and they know not so good stuff. So the first thing is you gotta have something good. You know what I'm saying? And then I think beyond that, you have to be about what you say you're going to be about. So if you say you're going to, do something at a certain time and or provide some type of feedback or something, or even a product in a certain time, you got to be about it.
Right.
You truly have to be about it. Especially dealing with a certain type of, clientele.
Exactly.
And like you said, these are A-list folks, bro. Like
A-list.
They rocking and rolling. They can go into any store and shut the shit down and buy the store. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have that ability to do that. And if they trust me to make them a garment, I gotta come correct.
Absolutely.
I gotta come correct. Because you could easily go in Gucci and spend, what you're gonna spend, or any label. I'm not picking one out, but you can go any elsewhere, and really go ham. But because you chose to rock with me, I gotta have something good for you, and I gotta be about what I say I'm gonna be about. Because when they go into those labels and those designer whatever, they know what they're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So it got to be the same way with me. Like after you finish rocking with me, you got to know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
So I think fundamentally those are two things. Like you got to be a person of your word, and that's integrity. You know what I'm saying?
Integrity.
Got to be a person of your word. Say, look, if I told you I'm gonna get you this suit back in 2 weeks, then bro, it needs to be back to me in 2 weeks. If I said I needed this particular color or swatch and I need the sample and I need it in hand, like I need that. You know what I'm saying? And I need it in a timely fashion because these people are moving, they're busy.
Right.
different type of clientele, bro.
Absolutely.
Clientele.
Absolutely, man. Their name carries the weight. Yeah.
And your rep.
Yeah,
it goes,
and your rep.
And that's what I mean by having a good product. So
right.
I've been able to get into rooms because I had a good product.
Let's talk about the product. The brand is Tyler McLean.
Tyler McLean. Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah. Let's talk about the brand, man.
And I'll firstly start with, a lot of people don't know that that's the name because they just know me and they just know me as a face. And they're like, where's Tyler? Who's Tyler? So Tyler is my son, my oldest son. Right. So I named the business after him. And McLean is actually my middle name.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I wanted something that would kind of be smooth, you know what I'm saying? So I can run with the big dogs. So when you're saying Louis Vuitton, Ralph Lauren, Tom Ford, Tyler McLean, it kind of, you know,
it has a ring to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to have a ring to it.
Okay.
So that's the history behind the name. Again, most people don't know, you know, the actual name because they see me as the face or whatever, and they just know heck gonna get you right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, I see. Dude, I follow you. I see the fit. That's why I reached out to you when I was like, yo, I need some of them. I need some of them suits, bro. But look, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, but yeah, man, that's dope, bro.
Yeah, so about, like you said, the product, man, is the bread and butter in my claim to fame. Like I said, Tyler McLean, and I started out with menswear, so I started out with suits.
Okay,
I actually started out with suiting, and from there I expanded, and I was able to introduce women's wear and not just women's formal wear. So I can now do casual wear, business casual, street wear. I can do kids. I've now gotten into being able to manufacture merchandise, man. So I can do hats, caps, book bags, anything that you can put on your body.
Yeah,
I now have the wherewithal to make it happen.
I think I recently saw a young lady modeling what appeared to be a silk jogger. Was that correct? Or
yes.
I don't know if that was it satin or silk. It was fly.
Yeah, it was
satin, bro.
It was
a
white.
Satin jogger. Yeah, it was white.
It was white and it had some color. It had some color on the sleeve. Yeah.
On the sleeve. Yeah.
And on the pants. But
on the pants, right. A satin jogger, dog. I was like, well, yo.
Yeah, we different over here, baby.
Man, listen. For me, fashion is so important. I've always been, in fact, my mom was a model. Then she started designing her own clothes. I remember her pulling out her dress, and she had the paper, and she was cutting and threading and doing all those things. And then she had the whole machine set up. She was designing her own clothes and doing all those things, man. So I took a liking to fashion and very early on. And because she was into fashion, she made sure that whenever I stepped out, dude, I was on 1,000 together as a kid early on. So fast forward to this day, I love textures. Man. I'm big on the velvets. I'm big on satins and silks. I love the feel of textured, man. Good quality textured clothing, man. That's right in my alley, man. So when I saw that, I'm always impressed, but I was really blown away by that. I just like, nah, dog. A satin jogger and you know, you could, man, a woman, man, the right heels. You ain't got a sneaker. You can put a good sneaker on, but you could throw some good heel in that, man.
Yeah, the versatility
is there. Yeah, absolutely, man. So bespoke. I'm sorry, I need to. Talking.
Yeah, where your turbo juice at? Where your turbo juice at?
Right there. So we're talking about bespoke and custom clothing, man. That's high fashion, and your creations are bold choices, and I love the bold choice because it's about making a statement. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's about it's being seen with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And man, that opens the door to my next question. What's your philosophy on why quality and customization matter?
I believe because you can what can you do? You can show your individuality through custom pieces versus getting it off the rack.
Gotcha.
Because when you go to the store, you're limited to what they have.
Right.
So yeah, you might pick that blue dress, but you only picked that blue dress because that was the only blue dress that they had. But if they had other blues or other dresses or other shades of blue, that now opens your world up. So the value that is placed on being able to, be an individual and still show your creativity is pretty high. Because people like to be one of a kind.
Absolutely.
People want to have something that you don't have.
Yeah.
Or can't get.
Yeah. Like I love exclusivity, bro. Like I love exclusivity, man.
So that's the one thing that I don't really have to sell that part.
Right.
Because I'm not making 500 of these.
Exactly.
I'm making this one for you.
And
you know that.
Yeah.
And that has a value. And if it fits right, then it's doing what it's supposed to do. And then now we're cooking with grease.
Cooking with hot grease.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Look, man, I can't wait, bro. I can't wait for us to have that conversation and get some designs and get some stuff done. Man, I can't wait, man. I really can't.
No.
And I'll be honored, like for real. Like, dude, say less.
Yeah. And again, like being able to provide people with options they wouldn't otherwise and normally have, it brings joy to my heart. Because I'm literally, and see, I'm used to it now, so I know I have, and I'm gonna be nice, 60 buttons that I could choose from. But you don't know that,
right? You
come sitting down, you thinking, I just want a black suit, but when we get to the buttons, I'm showing you 60 different buttons, and you're like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then their eyes get big and they're like, yo, I didn't know that I could have all these options. And I'm like, yes, bro, we're building this from scratch.
Nice.
You can have, how the song go? You can have whatever you like. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Man, that's dope.
So I mean, that's a rewarding part of it for me, man.
Okay.
Being able to expose people to, more options that they wouldn't otherwise have going into, a regular store or online.
Right. Man. You got me thinking. I'm looking at my suits right now.
but and here's the thing though. D, that's the thing. So after COVID, that's when I really had to find a pivot, because initially, like I said, I was only doing menswear and I was only doing suits. That was up until COVID. Okay. When COVID happened, the world shut down. Wasn't nobody wearing no suits.
Yeah.
Except the weatherman.
True. That's it.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only person wearing suits.
That's the only person. Executives was like,
everybody on their Zoom, they had on the button ups and boxes on the
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
nobody was going into the office. Nobody was going into the office. The churches was closed. The libraries was closed. Wasn't nobody getting married. Wasn't nobody going nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't no prom. Schools was closed. Like wasn't nobody doing nothing.
Man, they didn't even have any funerals.
I said, heck, you got to figure out something. You like selling clothes, but what else can you make? What else can you do?
Right.
And because people started, like I said, to wear more business casual, I said, oh, okay, all right. Well, we about to get in the business casual lane.
Okay.
And I said, oh, okay, all right. Well, I don't want to just be limited to men. So I need to partner with some folks that do some stuff for women. Because if I can do stuff for women, oh, that's gonna change the game.
That's a game changer.
That's a game changer. Because now I can market to anybody.
Right.
I don't have to just go to the men's meeting or the men's convention or the men's conference or anything like. I can go anywhere.
Right.
Everybody's a potential client. Everybody. And then after I got into the women, I said, okay, well, let me expand in what I'm able to offer, meaning like the business wear, the formal wear. And now I can do, like I said, casual. I can do streetwear. I can do anything that you walk out this house and you see somebody wearing, I now have the ability to make. And that right there, my friend, is a wonderful and beautiful thing. And that's a long time coming, bro. And I wouldn't have seen this years ago at all.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations, man. That's
Thank you.
Going through the different spells of businessman and rising to the occasion through resilience. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. Shout out to you, man. And as you continue to grow. Because business, we're going to continue to grow in business.
Yeah, of course. I definitely got a lot of growing to do, man. I'm just scratching the surface, bro. Like, man, for real.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Definitely.
Because the goal, real quick, is to be more intentional. See, a lot of the stuff that I have been able to do thus far, it wasn't that intentional.
Okay.
Certain aspects, you know what I'm saying? Some
right.
Yes, but I mean, I'm talking about a consistent spell of intentional decisions. I'm not talking about my back is against the wall and I really got to think, oh, what the hell am I going to do? Yeah, that's intentional, but your back is against the wall. I'm talking about a consistent flow of decision making that's intentional.
Right.
That's the next phase of the game for me.
Wow. Well, man, thank you for all the different stories. Thank you for sharing all of your gems for business and your different walks of life. You know, we could do this all night. Like we could do this all night for real.
But ladies, give him a double disc. You might have to give him a double disc, like back in the day.
We might have to do that,
man.
Like, yeah, we might have to do that, man.
Or just give him. We don't have to give him a part 2 real soon. Okay. Like when you start up the next season, like
absolutely.
Like have me on the joint early,
look,
bro.
Man, we could do that, man. Look, we could put you down season 3 already, man, because there's so much more that we could talk about, and we just, because we're just flowing, it's so natural, it's authentic, and man, we're just scratching the surface right now. But ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man Hector Williams, designer of Tyler McLean, and I'm gonna let him tell you where you can find his stuff and his products and his social media and all those great things. And you have the floor, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you again, D, for having me on, man. It was an honor. And before I even get into that, I just want to congratulate you on your continued success with the podcast, as well as your other endeavors that we don't want to just spill out to the people. But I definitely wish you continued success. And when you told me that this was going to be the closeout for the season, I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad I got to get a chance to get in on this side, because I know when the joint keep going, it's going to keep going. And I might have to get in on the 101 episode. And I'm like, bruh, like what we doing? Like where my spot at?
I got you, man. Say less, man. Say less. So I got you.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You know, following up and being a man of your word and being on top of it. Like, yo, I need you on there. Let's get it. So thank you for that. But people can find me on Instagram at Hectize, and that's HECTIES. And I'm on Facebook under Hector M for McLean Williams. Email easy, Hector Williams 33 at yahoo.com.
Okay.
Those are the main ways you can reach me. I would give out my number, but I ain't doing that on here. And see, that's the thing, D. No, for real. So that's the thing. So I don't have a website. Well, I do have a website, but it's not a traditional website. And the reason being is I used to make a joke and was like, I am my website. Like I don't need a traditional website. But that's not the truth. I used to just make a joke about that, just being lazy. But the truth of the matter is, most of my clientele I have gotten through word of mouth. So that
makes sense.
I haven't had and please hear me as humbly as I can say this, I haven't had the need to do any extra marketing and or advertisement. But not to say that I don't want more.
No, but that makes sense.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like, humbly speaking, like everything has been word of mouth. Somebody and I'm saying that to say that shit has kept me busy, bro. That's what I'm saying.
And when you're speaking from a point of your product and its refinement, Rolls Royce don't have commercials. Lamborghini don't have commercials. If there's no need for it and the product speaks for itself, man, keep moving the way you're moving, because you winning. And because of its exclusivity, I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, man, top tier folks, high earners, they are privy to stuff that we don't know about and hear about. You're part of that class, man. Keep doing your thing. And
humbly, I appreciate that.
No, that's real, man. I recognize real, and I recognize your greatness, man. So, shout out to you and what you're doing, man. And it's a perfect business model to me, in my opinion. So, yeah, keep killing the game, man. Keep killing the game.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Holla at Turbo. If y'all need to give me, holla at Turbo. He gonna vet y'all for me, man.
I got y'all. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the Sartorial Gladiator himself, Hector Williams. This has been episode 100 of the Final Boss podcast. Thank you for being a part of our Centennial celebration. Smarts, Final Bosses, please continue to build on your story as we're on this journey together. Absolutely. This concludes the second season of the Final Boss podcast. Season 3 is coming in a few weeks with more products. A lot of stuff is coming. So bear with me. A couple of weeks is going to pass by. But in the meantime, Motivation Mondays, because Motivation Mondays just started, will continue. But the sitting down on Sundays with Final Boss, the Tech Tuesday show with the Sensei, and our special guest episodes on Thursdays. We'll be back in season 3. But Motivation Mondays will continue. So stay tuned for that. I'm really proud of that. I'm working on some major and big things with Motivation Mondays. So, man, again, thank you for your support. Please continue to send us your feedback. Our email is at info@the Final Boss Podcast. One word. Go grab you some merch. The merch is out there. Go grab you some merch from the merch store. The merch store link is www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. And as always, be blessed, be equal, and be smart. And to everyone who's tuning in to our 100th episode, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. To wherever you are, this is our conclusion of our 100th episode. Hector will be back for season 3.
Yes, sir.
He might make it to season 3, episode 1, because we got to finish this conversation. So we're going to talk about that. But, man, it's been great. I love you guys, man. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. And look, be balanced, man. Be balanced. I appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. Talk to you and see you soon for season 3.
There it is. Let's go.
Let's go.